Okay, well, I don't think anyone's watching me right now. But once people start watching me, I'll be all bubbly and shit. Um, I'm just trying to work out kinks right now. Hold on, I'm going to see. Hello. Could someone come on the stream and test it for me, Lamau, to make sure it's working? I very seriously hope it's working. Oh, it is working. Hi, Kate. I guess you're watching. Sweet. There's a bit of a delay between when I say stuff and when it actually goes live. So I'm guessing you're not going to actually hear me until a while after I said this. But yeah, hello. Yeah, there's a delay. I got your text. Anyway. Oh, Ryan Mao's watching. Sweet. Hi, Ryan Mao. But yeah, so it's working. Am I like breaking up or anything? Oh my god. Hold on. Am I breaking up or anything? Am I breaking up or anything? Thank you, Ryan Mao, by the way. I appreciate that. Whoa, 4 viewers, but one of them might be me, so. 3 viewers. Hello, my 3 viewers. I'm gonna make a thing about this on Snapchat so that maybe some more people remember and end up watching me. So give me 1 second to do that. Alright, take a picture of the screen. I just went live. I should include a link. Hold on. Let me get a fuck, I need a link. Yeah, the debate itself is only starting at 8, by the way. 10 foot tall. Live. 2 people watching, and it's Ryan and Kate. Amazing. And now me, technically. Where's the share thing? Share. Copy link. Put that on Snapchat. Boop. Boop. And post my story. Wonderful. Amazing. I'm not going to look at my phone while I'm doing this. But yeah, I guess my Cornell Wi-Fi is good enough at least for this. So that's good to know. Alright, get rid of that. Let me hop on Discord and see if Myles is ready to get in a call with me. Hey. If you're ready to hop in a call with me, I'm live now. Yeah, hold on. I gotta fill the space. I gotta talk. I can't just, like, not speak for a while. Oh. Hello. How are you doing?
What's up, Max? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, so we are live now. I think there are literally, like, 3 people watching us. Yeah. So definitely not a lot. But yeah. It's like Ryan Mao and my sister and I think one other person. At the moment.
Ryan.
Yeah. Hopefully more people will join at 8. Yeah, I know a few other people were intending to watch this later. And then I
Hey
also wanted.
Ryan.
Hmm?
I'm just saying hey to Ryan.
Oh, nice, nice. And then if you want to, or if you're okay with it, I'm also going to upload a video of this later.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure that's fine with you. And I might cut it, but I can show it to you before I actually post it on the internet to make sure you don't think that I'm like misrepresenting you in any way or anything like that.
No worries.
Hmm. But yeah, so I don't want to actually start talking about racism until 8 o'clock, but yeah, just like I don't know, how's Corona school going?
It's good. I told you I switched colleges
Right,
because
right.
you might as well learn at home if it's like at a cheaper college. So,
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Um,
uh,
okay,
I don't know. Nothing much though. Nothing's really changed.
all right.
What
Taking
about
any
you?
interesting classes?
Not really. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
My class got busted for cheating, but I didn't. So,
Damn. All right. Yeah, my most interesting class right now is this class about indigenous relationships with the environment. It's like a freshman writing seminar, so I'm enjoying that.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm sick of writing essays.
Yeah. Do you want to turn on your camera, by the way? If you don't want to, that's fine. But
No, I can. I
okay.
just gotta sit up.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm streaming my face. So I'm not going. If that's all right with you, I'm not going to turn on my video. But yeah, if you want your face on the stream,
It's
you
good.
can share.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, 7 viewers now. I don't know who all of them are. Oh, Beamish is here also. You can say hi to Beamish.
Beamish.
Uh, pop out chat. Yeah, okay, this is good. So I can have your face and the chat both on my screen at once. That's nice. Um, I wish this little notification would go away. Streaming tips. Sure, was helpful. Can you stop showing me that screen now? No. Interesting. Alright, that's fine. Here, I'll let this take up a certain amount of chat. Okay. Uh, Sexy Banana Man. Nice. Oh yeah, and because Beamish asked, Nate was feeling not great. It rhymes, so it's true. So he said he'd rather not moderate today. I do think he's hopefully watching though. What is oatmeal? Would you like to discuss oatmeal until 8 o'clock, Myles? I understand this is a big thing for a lot of people. Wait, can you hear me?
Hello?
Sorry, is the connection all right?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Oh, I can do full screen. All right. Well, if I do full screen, I can't see the chat. It's unfortunate. Ah. There we go. But yeah, oatmeal, man. It's a conundrum. We don't know what it is. I don't know. Just appealing to my demographic of Kenny Nemec. And yeah, there's also and Ryan apparently. Uh, Here, let me actually Google it because I'm not entirely sure what it is. I mean, like oats.
You don't know what oatmeal is?
I mean, it's like oats, but like, is oats? It's just like flour, huh?
I mean, I used to have it as a kid. It's like, I used to
Yeah, I've
microwave
had
it.
oatmeal before. It's just
I think I like it. It's probably disgusting. A lot of old people have it
yeah.
too.
Um, yeah, it just seems to be like a type of coarse flour made of hulled oat grains, and they've either been milled or um. Okay. Well, uh, I guess I guess we can end the stream now because we've talked about all that Kenny and Ryan are interested in, I think. Yeah. You voting for Trump, by the way?
Oh, well, first of all, I can't vote. I turned 18 November 10th, so I'll be one of
Ah,
the
that
young voting.
sucks. Okay,
Um, if I would vote, I'd vote for Trump. Yeah,
got it.
I
All
don't
right.
want Biden.
Mm-hmm. I really hate to do this because I do want to have your face in the stream, but my Wi-Fi is pretty terrible. Um,
Yeah,
and I
like you're
think
cutting out.
having your video on the Discord is making it go slower and break up a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's good. Good. I'll get off.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I hate to do that.
You already sound better now that it's off.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's funny because Cornell was one of the first places to like have internet access like in the world. Not the first place, but one of them. But the Wi-Fi is just garbage here. It's so terrible.
It's never gotten better.
Yeah, it's the exact same internet quality as when they first brought it here. Hmm. Uh, let's see. You watched the debate?
Yeah, kind of.
Hmm.
Didn't pay too much attention to it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I watched like the first like 45 minutes and I got kind of bored. I watched the first debate though, the full thing. That one was more
Well,
entertaining.
I was tuning in and out. I was on it the whole time.
Hmm.
Um, I was just playing Valorant and like in the meantime just listening to it, and
Oh, you
out of
play
nowhere I
Valorant?
just hear Biden.
Hmm.
What?
You play Valorant?
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
you
but
should
then out
find
of
me.
nowhere I just
Mhm.
hear Biden saying Abraham Lincoln is one of the most racist presidents.
Yeah.
I think he meant to say Trump because he was
Right,
pointing
right.
to Trump, but
I mean, Abraham Lincoln was a little
of course
racist.
he was
Yeah,
racist. Yeah, but
you
like
know,
he's
just
not the most or one of the most.
right, right. But yeah, my roommate just came back. Hi, Pasquale. What's up? I know people seem to like his cameo in the video I made. I don't know if you watched that, Miles. So I'm just gonna here. He
Your
has a little
roommate?
cameo. Yeah, my roommate. Um, but yeah, he's a very nice young lad from New York City. Um, all right. What else to talk about
Oh,
in your time?
Ryan, I'm only a bronze too. But I'm trying, Ryan. I'm trying.
Oh, look at this active chat. This is amazing. Wait, Noah, I also play Valorant. So we each get +1 points. I mean, you're probably better than me, Miles. Um, I'm not very good
What
at
rank are
Valorant.
you? I'm only a bronze too.
I think I don't know what rank I am because I don't, if you only play unrated, do you even get a rank? I think I've only ever
You're
played
cutting out
unrated.
again.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Um, hold on. This may be. No, I'm not gonna switch Wi-Fi's. It's too risky. Um, that's not what I meant to do. You can hear me better now?
I don't know. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
talk more.
Okay. But yeah, I don't even think I have a rank in Valorant. Um,
Yeah, if you don't play for some time, you go unranked again. So,
mhm.
also, there's a new app that came out like 12 days ago. So,
Okay. I'm playing Faster Than Light. That's what I've been playing.
never heard of it.
It's a single player game that Ryan Mao actually suggested for me.
Oh no, I'm gonna get -1 for not here for not knowing it.
Yeah, it's fun. You should download it. It's free for PC. Yeah, I have the little icon down. Uh, and it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm good to actually start the debate if you are.
Okay.
All right. So to start the debate, I think we can have the classic uh, have like a 2 minute or like let's say 1.5 minutes just for like our positions on the prevalence of racism in America
Oh
as like
no,
a
you're
little
cutting
intro.
out.
Oh, I'm cutting out again. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Um, is it better now? Sorry.
I guess it
Okay.
might come out again, but
I'll try to talk relatively slowly. But yeah, so a minute and a half to just give a little intro about ourselves and our opinions on the prevalence of racism in America. If you would like to go first, feel free.
sure. Just obviously racism is a huge problem. We see it ourselves. Other people experience it, and obviously that's not good. When it comes to like organizations called Black Lives Matter, I'm against that, but like Black lives itself do matter. I just don't like the organization because like I'm Jewish, they're pretty anti-Semitic. They support anti-Semitic bills like BDS and stuff. Um, they also like they're responsible for like all these like riots on the streets. I know people like saying that it's peaceful protests, but yes, there are many peaceful protests, and I get that. I just don't like the part where it turns violent or anything like that, and I think it puts a bad image on it. I feel like it's important to focus on all Black Lives Matter, not just the Black lives that suit their agenda through like police brutality, because there's only so many Black people who die to police violence every year, and we can talk about like Black on Black crime, like in cities and stuff, which is a lot more important. Well, I don't really know what else to say right now, but we can start on that.
All right. So now I'll give my little intro without addressing anything that you said. So I'm actually pretty happy. I thought you would be a little more conservative and be like, oh, racism doesn't really exist in America anymore. So this is going to be a more pleasant debate in that case. Yeah, so racism in America definitely exists still and affects people's lives, and that's pretty indisputable. And I do have a document up with just a whole ton of sources that give different examples of systemic racism in society. But yeah, just to give a little preface to what I'm going to be talking about, there are three types of racism. There is one, explicit racism, which is literally just when someone says, like, I hate black people or I hate Jews or whatever, or is very outwardly actually racist. So that's not as prevalent in America as it used to be, obviously. And, that's not legal. So that's not as much of a problem. But the two places where racism is actually a problem in modern day America are implicit racism and racism by outcome. So, implicit racism is when people have implicit biases that, they may not actually think consciously, oh, I hate black people or anything like that, but they're conditioned by society to look at a black person and just to feel more threatened on average than if it were a white person. And this can affect things like sentencing and the conviction rates in the judicial system. So if a jury is made up by these people who aren't explicitly racist but do have implicit biases, then they may be more likely to convict black people simply because of their appearance, instead of purely logically looking at their crimes. And then racism by outcome is when, even though there are no laws encoding racism anymore in America, we still feel the effects of racism from 50 years ago and from 100 years ago. Because when you're born into a family with little wealth, you are more likely to die with little wealth. It's more difficult to become rich if you're a lower class person in poverty. We have sticky ends of the wealth spectrum. If you're born poor or if you're born rich, you're more likely to die poor or rich. Um, and America ranks pretty poorly compared to other countries in terms of wealth mobility. So even though there are no laws currently encoding racism in America, there are still people who are feeling the effects of the racist laws that did exist 50 years ago. And I believe the solution to that would be reparations, and which I imagine that you would disagree with. So if you'd like to talk about reparations, that's the first thing we can talk about.
Oh yeah, reparations. You said you're
hmm
cutting out. Yeah. So do you feel like that's the answer?
I don't think there's one single answer. I think there are a lot of small things that we can do, or some of them big things that we can do to address racism in America. But one step that I do believe is crucial is, yes, reparations.
You're cutting in and out. But I
I'm
understand
sorry.
what you're saying. But
Okay.
like reparation is in like straight up giving money to like black people, or reparation as in like
Yes. I think that
okay.
the government should straight up give like a check to black people for a certain number of months for or a certain number of years and have that supplement their income. It would be like a universal basic income, but specifically for black people. And I do also just believe in a universal basic income
Okay,
for
that's
everyone.
like, but you understand not all black people are poor. I think it should be on socioeconomic status if we are giving reparations, if we are handing out money.
Well, the problem with just having it instead be for uh, people who are in socioeconomic circumstances, they're more poor. I definitely also believe in that. I believe in a strong safe social net, but the problem is that there's way less average wealth in black families and black communities than white communities. I don't remember the exact percentage, but I can look it up if you'd like. But I believe it's something along the lines of 1/10. Like black people in America per capita have 1/10 of the wealth of white people. And
Okay, do you think, do you, sorry, I'm getting notifications on my laptop. I
no,
have
it's
to turn
fine.
it off. Wait, I'm just gonna do that real quick. It's gonna be loud.
Hmm. No worries. But yeah, so because of that
Okay, I
fact,
think
I
I
think
turned
it
it
just
off.
statistically makes sense to give black people a certain additional sum in the same way that it just makes sense for insurance companies to charge extra for boys who are learning how to drive because men are just more likely to be in car accidents. So a 16-year-old boy who's learning how to drive, the insurance is going to cost a little extra, So in the same way, you can argue that that's unfair, but I think it just makes sense statistically. It's a smart allocation of government resources.
Well, it should be going to the people who need it, not the people by color. Like, you
Well,
know what I'm saying exactly? Because um, people who are poor and who do happen to be black, they can get reparations. But if they're wealthy, they don't need it. Why are we like
well,
spending
I
money on them when
the
they don't need it?
because the problem with drawing a line like a wealth line is then uh, when inflation happens, it makes it more difficult unless you're adjusting for inflation. And even if you are adjusting for inflation, who are the people who get to decide how much you're adjusting every year or every 4 years? And it's leaving it too much up to chance. I feel like because then you're
It's
leaving the
not leaving it
chance.
up to chance because as you said, if they start off wealthy, they're probably end wealthy, and the same thing for being poor. If they start off poor, they'll probably end off poor.
Right, but you have to draw a line somewhere. So like, are we going to draw the line at the poverty line? Because that's a pretty bad line to draw. The poverty line, $20,000, I believe in America right now, is absurdly low. It is very difficult to live off of $25,000 a year in most parts of the country. Um, but the
I
poverty
just
line is
don't think it's right
20,000,
to give it
so
to all black people. I think it should be socioeconomic, and that's all I'm saying.
okay.
It shouldn't. There's people who aren't black that are still poor. Could
Yeah,
be
and
other
those people should
minorities. It could
also
be
be
white
receiving a
people.
universal basic income or, social, social welfare, in some form or another. I
What I
believe in
think
a
is
strong
really
welfare
important
state.
is like the bail system, like prison system. The bail shouldn't really be a thing.
Oh
Wealthier
yeah.
people. Yeah, I think we could agree on that.
Yeah, bail is terrible.
Obviously, education plays a huge role with that implicit and explicit racism and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and then like the bail system is like systematic racism.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the bail system absolutely is a pretty easy thing that we can get rid of. Like that wouldn't be a difficult thing to get rid of. Um, and I do very strongly believe that if we pressure Joe Biden and establishment Democrats on that, that's something the Democrats would be willing to cave on. And that's also one of the reasons why, yeah, I voted for Joe Biden. So, it,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it,
hmm and I
but at the
guess
same time, then like isn't aren't don't Democrats like take the position that like the overcrowding of jails or whatever? So like if people aren't getting bailed out, what's their next solution? What's their solution? Just releasing them, or you
um
wouldn't know?
yeah, if you get rid of bail, then those people are just released. Oh, are you saying get rid of bail,
You're
but just like
cutting
have?
out.
Oh, yeah, it's still going. Okay, good. Or at least I think it is. Yeah, okay.
Things are good.
All
Yeah.
right, wonderful. Hopefully this Wi-Fi works a little better.
Okay.
Uh, all right, so you think we should get rid of bail and just have everyone stay in jail for that period of time?
Well, I don't know what the solution would be. I'm just saying that the bill system is unfair.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like,
So,
yeah, I'm not a policymaker. I don't have to worry about that.
yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I definitely think that the logical next step to getting rid of bail would then be to have it legal for people to walk free during that period of time. I think
Well,
that
I would
definitely
think
makes the most
on
sense.
not obviously not violent charges, right?
Yeah, not violent charges. Like murderers and rapists still need to be held in jail.
Obviously, yes. Okay.
But like for all non-violent crimes, yeah, those people should just be allowed to walk free. And if I don't know,
But they
do
should
you
like.
want to see
I think they would
statistics?
either have to like, if they have charges against them, they would still have to pay it. But that's like a different issue.
Well,
Like they can
yeah, if they get
get
fined,
the.
that's a different matter. Um,
Okay.
Now, I definitely believe that court fines and like traffic fines and all that are too high in America, and that the
Yeah.
government should be
It's
the government should be more lenient, especially with people in worse socioeconomic circumstances, getting smaller fines. You know, the fine shouldn't be like a blanket fine for um, like parking in a handicap spot or like stuff like that. That shouldn't be a universal fine. It should be like a percentage of your income, if anything.
hmm
Uh, so yeah. All right. Well,
we
I'm
can kind of
surprised
agree
by
on
how
that.
much.
Like,
Hmm.
we can kind of agree on that. I mean, I'm conservative, like
Hmm.
in the fact that I'm a Republican. So
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. I'm surprised that we agree on this much pleasantly. All right, let's talk about Black Lives Matter though, because you said
sure.
in your intro that you're against Black Lives Matter, and
The organization, yeah,
right, right.
just to be clear.
Yeah, the organization. And that is something that I feel like I might be able to change your mind about on this stream, if judging by your answers to previous questions. Um,
hmm
so obviously, I denounce violence on the part of Black Lives Matter rioters, the people who are like breaking into small businesses and stealing stuff, stealing like designer jackets or stealing, especially from small businesses. That's really disgusting.
Yeah.
But that is a tiny fraction of the people who were protesting for Black Lives Matter. Um, the vast
Uh,
majority of the people were peaceful protesters. And even
right.
though I definitely denounce the violence, it's understandable. It's not good, and people shouldn't be violent when they're protesting these things overall. But it's definitely understandable. There was a really powerful video I watched that was talking about this, about how it's pretty annoying how a lot of people just have no empathy for some of these people who are being more violent and destroying police cars, for example, during riots and stuff. Where it's like, so you're going to subject an entire group of people to systemic racism
Black
for
Lives Matter itself doesn't denounce the violence,
um,
does do
I
they?
mean, I'm sure portions of Black Lives Matter do, maybe like their leadership doesn't. But
Okay, well, that's my issue.
I mean, the vast Black Lives Matter more than anything is like a group of people that are working towards a common goal, and they have some amount of, they have leadership to some extent. I don't know what the name of the guy who leads Black Lives Matter is or anything. I don't know how they're structured. I think it's also a little more decentralized, where there's Black Lives Matter for different cities, where like different cities will have their own like factions of the organization. And
But like,
so you can say that like the Black Lives Matter organizers from one city may not denounce the violence. I'm sure you can't say that across the board.
more than just violence though, like they block traffic, make sure people can't get to the places.
Yeah,
They
they're
yell at people dining out at outdoor restaurants.
right.
Um,
That one
I
video
know
was pretty
there's
annoying.
more than just one video of that, but yeah,
Hmm.
in that
Um,
one situation.
I mean, yeah, the at least the one video that I've seen of the protesters like getting all up in the business of the people who were dining, the people who were dining, the couple, like were flipping off the protesters and stuff beforehand, which is something that a lot of the mainstream media was not really showing. So I'm not sure that they deserved what they got, but they definitely instigated it.
Yeah, that's
They
just
they were
one
not just like
example.
sitting there innocently and the protesters
There
came
is a
by.
whole compilation I can send you like after this,
Okay,
but I'll have
but
to
there's
yeah.
usually context for those situations. And once again, these protesters are, yeah, they're trying to make life inconvenient. That's kind of the point of a protest is to raise a big fuss and get
Do
people to
you think like
notice
they
and
get people on their side by shouting at them when they're eating?
well, the point of arguing with someone isn't always to get them on your side. It's to get the people
Well, that's
watching
what
on
they're
their
trying
side.
to do. They're
Well,
yelling at them to like put their fist up or join them in the march or whatever.
yeah, so a lot of the time it's people who
That's
are
their
acting
purpose.
out of anger and, you know, aren't being super smart about it. And yeah, especially optics wise, it's not always great. But just to make the point that when you're like screaming at someone for being a Nazi, you're not trying to convince that Nazi to stop being a Nazi. You're trying to convince the people who are watching you scream at the Nazi that the Nazi is an idiot and that you shouldn't be like him. That's so saying that like, oh, by screaming at the people in the streets, you know, how are they supposed to change their minds? Well, that's not really the point.
That is their point. That's what they said in that Inside Edition video. That their point in doing this to these outdoor diners was to get them on their side, to raise their fists, join them, or whatever, and put down their food to uh, be like to fight with them or something. That they said it themselves, the protesters, that that was their purpose.
I mean, yeah, they might have been acting out of anger, and acting relatively irrationally. You know, people tend to do that, but again, that's to say that like the blanket statement of just like overall people who are yelling at people they disagree with are just trying to get the people they disagree with on their side. That's not always true, and that's not always the point. Like, so I
I'm
think
just saying that Inside Edition interviewed like a protester, and they said
okay,
that.
so that's one particular protester. But again, you know, that's like you can't blame all
Well,
of
the point of them going to the outdoor diners is to get them to march with them or put their fists up and show them solidarity or whatever it's called.
okay, yeah, and some of the diners might do that. I'm sure some of the diners did it. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
I'm
some diners do, and the diners that don't, they do get harassed. So
right. So to an extent, yeah. And while that's not always great, I think if it's nonviolent harassment, it's not that big of an issue.
I don't
Like
know, but
it,
people
there are
are in
just.
peace eating at a restaurant,
I
and
mean, yeah, no, it's not.
100 people
It's
surround them.
it's not great to do that, I guess. But like that's a really flimsy reason to denounce Black Lives Matter because sometimes they get mad at people who disagree with them.
Okay,
Like
well, I don't like how. Yeah, I'll go to another point that I made like during my like intro or whatever, that they don't really address black on black crime or murder or whatever. They talk about only police brutality, and that's just a small fraction
they
of the.
definitely don't only talk about police brutality. And the reason that they focus on police brutality is because that's what gets people to come out and protest. BLM position on black crime. I'm sure that they've made a statement on this. But yeah, black on black crime is also a really big issue. Um,
I think if we're focusing on
yeah, so
Black Lives Mattering, I
the
think
first
it should be
article I
stopping
just
that
found
crime.
is stop accusing the Black Lives Matter movement of ignoring so-called black on black crime. And um, yeah, so it's yeah, I'm not going to read this entire article right now, but here, let me see if there are any other articles. Black Lives Matter and black on black crime. What does this say? Uh, Let me look.
The people who they idolize, though, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and like other uh
Hmm.
people that they don't idolize anyone who was a victim of a crime, not by a police officer.
Well, yeah, because
At least I don't think.
black on black crime is definitely an issue and it kills, you know, more people die due to black on black crime, I guess, than police
Yeah.
brutality. But like police killing a person is is just like a bigger story and it's kind
If
of
it's
worse than a
unjustifiable, like there's these situations where they're definitely justifiable. The other person has like a weapon or something, and it's in defense. And
Yeah, sure.
I
There's some instances of it, but like most
most
conservative.
instances, not just on black people, on white people as well, on any other race. But um, I was about
Wait,
to
what
say
was that
something.
point? So you're saying that police like kill white people for no reason as often as black
Oh no, no,
people?
no! If they have a weapon, like it's
Oh,
not just
okay. All right. Yeah, no, there are situations where they have a weapon, but a lot of the problem is that conservative pundits will just like say no matter which death it is, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, whoever else, they'll just say that they had a weapon or that the police were provoked, and they'll defend the police even when the circumstances are undeniable that the police acted, beyond reason.
um
What was that recent person who was in the car, and or he was outside of his car, and then he walked around to his car, and the police had him at gunpoint while he like slowly walked around to the other side of his car, and then he like started getting to his car, and they shot him because they thought he was reaching for a knife, but like the knife wasn't even found in his hand. It was found on like the other side of the car. So that's like part of the problem is then police later will say, oh look, we had to shoot him
was it
because
declared unjustifiable in court, or you don't
I
know?
don't remember. But
Okay. Well, that's why they go to court, because anytime a police shoots
But the
someone,
courts are
then kill
always
them.
on the side of the police, almost always at least. Because
Maybe because it is self-defense.
no,
Because
in that situation, if you've
there's
seen the
other
video,
situations where they are.
if the police had wanted to restrain that man in that particular instance, you can watch the video, and the man is walking around the car for like
I don't
five
know
to
the
ten
story. I'm
seconds.
just
The
going
police
off
could have
of like
restrained
if
him
in
during that
court, if
time.
there if it's declared that it's justifiable or unjustifiable, and if the officers get charged. But do
I
you know the exact statistics of how many black people are murdered by cops in 2019, and of how many of those were declared unjustifiable in court?
um deaths, police related deaths in neighborhood economic and racial ethnic. Hold on. I Here, let me look at this source. I have a whole document of sources.
Oh, okay. I didn't
This is
prepare.
for
I didn't prepare
2015 to
anything.
2016. Uh, More than 1,100 persons died in the U.S. in 2015 from injuries inflicted by law enforcement, and police-related mortality rates are disproportionately high among men and boys of color. So that's 1,100 people, and
That's not the
in
statistics I get from the FBI, but
this is AJPH or APH, American Public Health Association.
okay. I
The
can.
American the FBI doesn't always, by the way, classify like a police or a death at the hands of police the same way as other organizations do. But um, yeah, like for example, if they die in a hospital afterwards, some sources might say that that's like doesn't count as dying at the hands of police. But I know this source is saying died from injuries inflicted by law enforcement, so it's taking that into account. So if you're getting lower numbers, it might be for a reason like that, where they're not taking into
All
account
right.
hospital deaths. But like
Okay.
absolutely
So,
that should be counted.
do you believe that what we call it, like the Breonna Taylor case
Oh, the Breonna
should?
Taylor case was, yeah, no, that was definitely the police's fault. They had a no-knock warrant at first, but if you look, they didn't have a no-knock warrant afterwards. The judge changed it afterwards. He changed the order so that it wasn't a
Hmm.
no-knock warrant anymore. So they had to knock and announce themselves, and I believe it was out of 9 witnesses, 8 of the witnesses said that they had not announced themselves as police. And they were plainclothes. They weren't dressed as police either. So it was literally just a bunch of people knocking and
Do you
then
think they
breaking down the door
deliberately
of the.
shot Breonna Taylor though, or was she just caught in crossfire?
I'm not sure that they intentionally shot Breonna Taylor, but they were shooting at her boyfriend, which is
Yeah,
ridiculous
because he had
because
a weapon drawn, right?
yeah. So what? Are you not so? This is what was happening from Breonna Taylor's boyfriend's perspective. He was in his home. Suddenly he hears a knock, and before he can answer it, his door is broken down by a bunch of men without in plainclothes. They just looked like a bunch of men. They didn't look like police, and they
Well,
had
there's a
never
difference
announced
between
themselves
charging
as
them for
police,
that and a difference.
and they had their
Right.
guns out. What are you gonna do? No, you're gonna like So if you're like at all pro Second Amendment, and you believe that people should have the right to defend their property, then yeah, it's pretty clear that the Breonna Taylor case was absolutely the police's fault.
No, when I'm at that, I mean, there's a difference between charging them for like not going in when there's like not a warrant or whatever, and the difference between like like being charged for murder. That doesn't.
Oh,
That doesn't.
I mean, like, yeah, maybe they should only be charged for like manslaughter or murder in the third degree or something. Yeah, okay, if they weren't like intentionally trying to kill her, I guess you shouldn't charge them for murder in the first degree.
Manslaughter, I can get because it was like, I mean, it was
But
unintentional.
he didn't even get charged for manslaughter. He didn't get charged for jack shit. Like,
Well, I can get if they tried to charge him for manslaughter,
right.
but you
And
don't try to charge him them or not him. I don't
and
even know
that's
with
one of
two
the other
officers.
problems is because the police and the courts and the prosecutors are all working together. One of the methods that they'll do a lot of the times is the prosecutors of the police will only charge them with like the highest possible um, charge. So they'll say like we're charging them with murder in the first degree. And in the U.S. court system, you are allowed to charge them with murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, murder in the third, and manslaughter. You're allowed to charge them for all four, and then just see which one sticks. That's like a
Hold
thing
on,
you're
my mom
legally
broke
allowed to
glass.
do.
My
But they,
mom broke glass in the kitchen. I need to help her clean it up. 1 second.
oh, okay,
If
that's
you can
fine.
pause, that's fine. Okay.
All right, I'll entertain my live stream audience in the meantime. Hey, what's up, guys? How many people are watching me right now? 14, hell yeah, or 17? I don't even know. It's one of the two. Uh, yeah, comment, subscribe, or something. Anyway, here, let me take a look at the chat. I haven't looked in a while. Da 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 da. Pie face seed, but the vast majority of police officers don't shoot black people. Uh,
I'm back. She didn't
oh,
name me.
okay, sweet. Um, all right, let me try to remember what my point was.
Yeah. We're talking about like being charged for murder. I don't know.
Right, yeah. So prosecutors are allowed to charge you for like multiple things and see which one sticks. But when they're prosecuting police, a lot of the time, they'll get a little bribe under the table and they'll say just charge them with the highest one, and they'll purposefully overcharge the person so that the
It's more
public
like it
is
makes it look more serious. Yeah.
exactly, the public is like, hey,
Okay.
at least they're getting charged, but then the charge doesn't stick because it's an overcharge. That's like an intentional thing that absolutely happens. And it happened in the Breonna Taylor case.
The chat is saying they're ignoring you. You're ignoring them.
Um, I'm not entertaining. Well, the problem is for my chat, people watching the live stream, is that there's like a 10 to 20 second delay. So you only see what I'm doing like 10 to 20 seconds later, and that's yeah, which isn't great. I'm not sure why there's that much of a delay. I
Well,
feel like there
yeah,
shouldn't be.
Kyle Rittenhouse, he's that 17-year-old guy, right?
Hmm? Yeah,
That
Kyle
17-year-old.
Rittenhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your
That
opinion on that? That's a good question, Beamer.
that was the dude who went across state lines with like an assault rifle and like shot black protesters or something, right?
Well, no, he shot. I don't know. It wasn't all. I don't know. He shot and killed a white person because they were charging at him, even when he had his gun pointed at them because they were being very aggressive, and they still ran towards him. So he shot.
Okay. I honestly
And by
don't.
the way, he was like, I forget the word for it, but he got released. Like he was declared not guilty. So
Okay. Well, I don't know enough about that case to speak. I mean, I can look into it, but I feel like that would be a little bit boring. Uh,
yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
but yeah, I mean, just the fact he did travel across state lines with like an assault rifle, right? That is a fact, correct?
Well, that doesn't mean anything. You could travel anywhere with a, unless it's illegal. Was it legal
Okay,
for him
I'm
to have a gun?
I'm not saying that he broke the law by doing that.
Okay.
But okay, that's kind of fucking ridiculous. Like to 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 travel across state lines purposefully to
Do you, I
instigate
don't
violence. He was looking for violence if he was doing that. Like if he were defending his own community, I would still say he's a dumbass
I
and
don't
he should
even know if
leave
he
it to
did
the
travel across
police.
state lines, but I know he had work that day, and then someone called him, "Hey, do you want to come protest with us or like counter protest?" I don't
Hmm.
know why he brought his gun, but he had his gun, and people were charging towards him, so he had the right to shoot back.
Yeah. So I definitely believe, I'm pro Second Amendment, to an extent. We can talk about that later, actually, if you'd like to, because that's
Well,
another
we can
interesting
talk
debate.
about it now. I mean, you could close this, whatever, but then we
Okay.
could talk.
But yeah, just quickly to wrap up the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. Uh, even if he wasn't doing anything illegal, that's kind of ridiculous to go across state lines with an assault rifle to just walk around counter
Well, you're
protesting,
attacking him.
looking
You're
for
not like
violence.
he's not looking for violence. People were charging towards him.
He was looking for violence. If he did all of that, he went with the intention to, at the very least, intimidate protesters. At the very least. And it looked
So,
you
are we talking about him, or are we talking about like him should have been charged for
Oh,
like
I
you
don't
think?
I don't know enough about him to say if he should be charged or
Okay.
not. But just from those details that I do know, like he was no angel, and defending him is kind of ridiculous. And there was a
Well,
lot of right.
defending him because people are like slandering him for murdering them, but it was in self-defense. Yes, I would defend him for that because it was self-defense.
Okay, fair
People
enough. But
were
a lot of
charging
right-wing
towards him and
media was
throwing things
like
at him
a lot
and
of right-wing
trying to
media though
stab
was like
him.
hailing him as a hero. And there's a difference between defending him as like,
I don't know about a hero. I just think like um
okay, well, he definitely was not a
ensuring that he
hero.
did nothing wrong by shooting in self-defense is what they're trying to get across.
All right,
I
sure.
don't think they
And
declared him a hero. If they did, you can show me.
oh, yeah, like I'm pretty sure I saw like a Fox thing where it's like Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero. Um, or it was like one of the dudes from Fox or something.
Not a hero for anything.
Kyle Rittenhouse is an American
But just so
hero.
you know, during the night, he's a certified not certified. He works for EMT. He was literally helping out a protester from the other side who
Kyle
got
Rittenhouse
injured
was?
by. Yes, he was helping out everyone.
If
Also,
that's
people.
true, then that's pretty cool, I guess. Um, I don't
There's
know if it is
video
true.
evidence of him helping out a protester from the other side.
All right, fair enough. I'll have to look into that later. But yeah, I don't know. You're not watching my stream now, are you?
I
Yeah,
can see.
it's
Yeah,
fine
I'm
if you're.
looking at it now.
Oh, okay, yeah. I pulled up like a source that's calling Kyle Rittenhouse an American hero because you asked me to.
Uh,
Um, so
does it
there,
say hero word for word?
yeah, it says word for word the title. Kyle Rittenhouse is an American hero in all caps. Finally, someone stands up to BLM
Well,
terror
he's
and
not a
shoots back
hero.
in
That's a
self-defense.
misword. He is someone who protected himself. He
Hmm.
shouldn't be a hero. Like,
The
he
American
shouldn't be a
Citadel
hero.
also says it. Kyle Rittenhouse, hero. And let's see. And this one's about not making him a hero. But yeah, so there's definitely some right wing media that's like literally calling him a hero for what he did, which is ridiculous. I
What
don't
does
know
it
if he
say by
broke the law.
Fox or no?
But yeah.
Um,
Okay, and in terms of guns, because I think that's a pretty smooth transition from Kyle Rittenhouse, that
yeah,
we can talk a little bit about that. Audio isn't working.
I think
Uh,
you're good.
okay, wait. If the audio isn't working for the stream, is it working
I
now?
I think he's just trolling you.
Okay, I hope so. If he's trolling me, then it's making me nervous. My Wi-Fi is very bad here, so I'm a little bit nervous of that happening. Uh,
I think we're good.
okay, all right, cool.
So what? Like you said, you are pro Second Amendment to an extent. What's that extent?
Um, so, oh, it's low quality. Hold on, let me switch Wi-Fi before I talk about this. Is on. Uh, okay, so, yeah, Second Amendment to an
It's not
extent.
for me. Oh, now it's good. Now it's good. You're good.
Okay, good. All right, as long as people can hear me now. Uh, yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to live stream very often from here. But yeah, anyway, I'm pro Second Amendment, and I believe that people have the right to own most guns, but I do think that, they're already illegal automatic weapons. But, I believe in them
Aren't
staying illegal.
automatic weapons banned though? They're
Yeah, that's
already
what I
banned.
just said. They're already illegal,
Oh, okay.
but there are some crazy nut jobs who think that they should be legalized. So I'm very anti that, and I believe that
I
there
don't.
should be.
No, they don't. That's not necessary. You don't need that.
Oh, you think that? But yeah, whatchamacallit? Yeah, so I believe that semi-automatic weapons should have more stringent regulations, and I believe that we should have very extensive background checks before anyone is allowed to purchase any kind of gun, and that people should have to take training. So I don't know the exact number of hours people should take, but let's say like 10 hours of training um, by the government to make sure that you're not a danger to yourself, and then you should have to take a safety test at the end of the training to make sure that you know what you're doing. So I do
Hmm.
believe in all of those steps before you should be allowed to purchase a gun.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I had something in the background.
Okay, that's fine.
Um, so like in terms of um, what should I call it, like regulations or whatever of
Mm-hmm.
being able to purchase a gun, do you think there should be more regulations or like background checks? Because I do. You shouldn't be able to buy it if you have like mental problems that you can have it, like you misuse a
Mm-hmm.
weapon or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. People who have gone to prison for violent offenses, and people who are determined to be like mentally unstable, and people who and people who like there should be an age limit, obviously, also. None of those people should be allowed to purchase a gun. There need to be extensive background checks to make sure that uh, these people don't have any kind of history in the state that they're purchasing the gun in or in any other part of the country. And uh, and yeah, and I definitely believe that. I don't know if you heard me before, but I said that people should have to take 10 hours of gun training by the government before they're allowed to purchase a gun. Um,
Um,
and I believe
ten
that they
hours
should have
seems
to
a
take a
bit too
test.
much, but
Well, this is the way I think about it because I know one of the
I
arguments.
feel like yeah, you should be educated on tests. I don't know about 10 hours of gun training.
Well, one of the arguments that I know a lot of conservatives like to use is that it's like, well, if you just like restricted guns, people can just like use cars to kill people, and it's like, okay, but you have to take like 6 hours of training to drive a car with like a trained government, or I think no, I guess you can have a private licensing thing, but they're licensed by the
Well, you don't
government.
even need to drive. If you're doing something illegal, anyways, you don't have to be legal to drive. You don't have to make it be legal to drive a car. Drive a car, but
Right. No, that's my point. Is like you have to take the training, and you have to have like, and there's a certain period of time during which you're allowed to drive the car, but you have to do it with somebody, and if you're doing it alone, that's illegal, and there are like other restrictions like that. So I very strongly believe in a lot of restrictions like that. Like guns should definitely be more heavily regulated. So
so
if
like, let me ask you, because you know Ben Shapiro, obviously. So he
mhm.
has a personal story when it comes to like the Second Amendment, like guns or whatever, and shootings, school shootings.
How do I raise my
He
bit
went to
rate?
like I think it was a middle school, like a Jewish middle school, uh,
Mhm.
and uh, he like a shooter drove by the high school looking to, or not the high school, the middle school to like shoot it up, but he noticed the guard at the front of the school probably with a gun. So the shooter drove to the next school that got shot up or something like that. I don't. I think that's the premise of this story, but he didn't go to. If there's like a good guy with the gun, I know you hear this. A good guy with the gun would stop a bad guy with the gun. A shooter wouldn't want to go in a place with the thought of that someone having to have a gun and the fear of being shot at back. They would want to go in and kill people, and if they wanted to die, they would kill themselves. But
Okay.
um, that's like
Um.
called gun-free zones. Gun-free zones actually encourage shootings because the the shooter knows that nobody there is probably going to have a gun to defend themselves. So I'm just going to go in and shoot people.
All right.
But if you know what I'm trying to get
Mhm.
at least. Okay.
So for now, we have armed police officers in most schools, and I think that it's really
Yeah.
shitty, and I really wish that we didn't need it. And I think that if we take
But we do need it.
and for now we do need it, but I definitely think that we need to be taking steps to make that no longer necessary, because the fact that we need it is frankly ridiculous. And there are a lot of ways that we need to address that. And I know that the favorite conservative talking point is that we need better mental health, but then they won't support universal basic health care. or universal healthcare. Not yeah, I combined UBI and healthcare. But yeah, like universal healthcare would help with people with mental problems because right now, um, if you need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything, unless you're on Medicare, and even Medicare only limitedly covers it, it's very expensive to see a therapist, and that's kind of ridiculous. I definitely think that should be free. If you need to see a mental health professional, then your ability to pay for that should not block, should not determine whether you actually do it or not.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's why I support making sure they don't get guns to begin with.
right, yeah.
And
Um,
also, like, I know Democrats, like, Beto O'Rourke, he said it himself, I'm going to take your guns away. Taking guns away would not, people would have guns either way, legal or illegal.
I mean,
And
to an extent, I don't know. Maybe you've already seen this. Have you seen that video that's like talking about what Australia did? Or was it
no,
Australia or was it like New Zealand? I think it was Australia.
I don't know.
Australia in the 90s had, I believe it was a school shooting, but it might have just been like a mass shooting in a mall or something.
Yeah.
And so they just like had a gun buyback in like the early 2000s, and they confiscated 650,000 guns, and they have had like no mass shootings in the past like 18 years or something. Yeah,
I
murders and suicides plummeted, and there were just like no mass
That's
shootings anymore.
amazing, but I feel like if someone really wanted to shoot up a place, they would get a gun and they would do it.
I mean,
And
oh the
especially in America, America is a very different country.
oh yeah, for
Um,
sure. I'm not saying
there's a
that we should just
huge
have
illegal market and like black marketing. But yeah,
um
you agree. People should have a right to own. Most people should.
yeah, no, I do agree. I'm not saying that we should take away guns, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
that
I know. I'm just bringing up a point that like some Democrats, oh, not a point. Some
right.
something that Democrats want to do, just take away your guns.
There are some Democrats, but most Democrats don't. Joe Biden does not want to have
But
like
didn't he
an
say he wanted
all-encompassing gun
tomato on top
buyback.
of the gun safety?
I mean, I can look this up. I'm pretty sure Joe Biden is not arguing
Yeah, I'm
for.
sure he won't touch with that. He won't like interfere in that aspect. But he wanted to put Beto on like that board or whatever.
Oh,
Beto's the one who
I could
said
have been
that.
wrong. Hold on. Uh, why is this website being weird? Joe Biden pushes for federal gun buyback program, assault weapons ban. But is it a buyback of all guns? Um, da, 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 da. If you have an assault weapon, so he's for a buyback of assault weapons only, not just of all guns.
Couldn't a pistol be considered an assault weapon though?
Well,
If I'm
not if
not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure it's just not. Definition of assault weapon. Uh, I mean maybe like some pistols, but
Yeah, so drawing from federal and state law definitions, the term assault weapon refers primarily to semi-automatic rifles, pistols, and shotguns that are able to accept detachable magazines and possess one or more other features.
okay, I
So
don't have
it
a
includes pistols, yeah. But
yeah. So I mean some pistols that are semi-automatic. I don't really have a big problem with that. I think I don't have a super strong opinion on this.
and also, the AR-15 isn't even an assault weapon.
I mean if it's not an assault weapon,
It's
then
a very, very weak word, and I feel like he would.
sure. Okay, so you need to more clearly define it, but I'm sure he's like more. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm sure he's more clearly defined it than that. But yeah, assault weapon I guess is a relatively nebulous term that could mean a few things. But in general, if you have a semi-automatic weapon that you can add like a extra. What is it called? You add like an extra feature to it that allows it to shoot basically the same way as an automatic weapon. That I know that's like a whole thing. I don't remember the name. An
Um,
extension that allows it to shoot automatically.
oh my god! Now you made me forget it. Um,
The extension
a
that allows it
stock,
to
a
shoot
bump stock.
automatically.
Wait, is that what it's called?
A what?
A bump stock?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something. Yeah.
So So when you have a semi-automatic weapon that can take a bump stock, you said, right?
Noah just said nearly all pistols are semi-automatic.
Okay, then make weapons that aren't semi-automatic, and that's what I'm okay with us having. Semi-automatic weapons are pretty dangerous, uh, and I'm not necessarily for a ban of all
I mean, any
semi-automatic
gun is
weapons.
dangerous.
Hmm?
Any gun is dangerous.
Well, yeah, but a weapon that isn't semi-automatic that is more difficult to reload and fire into a crowd with, is it's inherently way more difficult to commit a mass shooting with a gun like that. Um, so while I definitely think that it won't be 100% effective, a gun buyback, it helped a lot in Australia. Even they've had like zero mass shootings, I think, since the early 2000s or something.
And
Um,
that's really good.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane.
But I'm not saying that like correlation doesn't mean causation. I'm saying
I,
this is
I
America.
mean, fair enough. Yeah,
This is
you
America.
can't you
Whatever.
can't
But,
prove
yeah.
you
You
can't
know how
one
much
million
of a big
percent
black market
prove.
there is with guns or whatever. Just guns. Yeah.
Wait, sorry. Say that one more time.
Like you know that there's a huge black market with guns in America. So
Yeah, sure, but that can be cracked down upon. Um, we can.
do we crack down on drugs that way?
Well, no. So the difference between cracking down on drugs and cracking down on guns is that drugs are like a non-violent crime that that aren't hurting anyone, except for maybe the person who's using the drugs, obviously. But you're not hurting anyone else with it. And I believe in bodily autonomy. You should be allowed to do whatever you want with your
Oh,
body.
also, just on a side note, I'm very pro marijuana.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad. Um, yeah, that's something that's pretty important to me.
Actually, technically by state, not federal though, because that would hurt my mom's business. But
Why? What's your mom's business?
she's like a CPA accountant, so and she extends her like business to like CEO cannabis CEOs and like does like a lot of things for them. I don't know exactly, but it will hurt her. Like she won't really have a business if it's legal on a national level.
I
Because
mean,
her business is like Oklahoma, very much
right. I mean, I guess that's
Colorado, where it's legal or they grow a lot. So that's
right. I mean, I guess that sucks that your mom would lose her job if like marijuana were federally legal. Would she like
that was
actually
a
lose her
question on New
job
Jersey,
or?
on like the referendum for New
Hmm?
Jersey ballots.
Oh yeah, yeah. I voted to legalize that.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a wide margin.
Right, right. It probably will be. The vast majority of New Jersey definitely is for legalizing marijuana,
Right.
but I am sorry to say that, like, legitimately sorry that if like moving forward and doing something doing something like federally decriminalizing marijuana or legalizing it.
Well, like the reason why she stepped into that is because she's capitalizing on that. Like only some states can grow and dispense or whatever,
Right.
and she
But
realizes that. So now she's in law school. So
hmm okay, yeah, because
she still has her
you shouldn't
CPA.
sacrifice progress just because some people are going to lose their jobs. If and it
I know.
sucks,
I'm saying from a
especially.
selfish level.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's like it's in the same way that you can't say like, oh, we shouldn't like invest in cars or anything because then the people who drive horse and carriages are going to lose their jobs. Like
Yeah.
it's at the
No, no,
end
no.
like
No. There's no way I'm
mhm.
arguing.
Right, right.
I'm like, it's better if like multiple states legalizes it eventually, then it will become national. But
Mhm. Yeah, if it becomes national, that's like the end goal, and hopefully that happens at some point. Hopefully Joe Biden
no,
does it.
there's no con to it. Like, no
Mhm.
one has ever died on marijuana. Not
Yeah,
over.
I think
And
you
if you
literally
feel like
have
you're
to
gonna die
smoke
from
the
it,
equivalent of
you will not die from it unless you
250,000 joints
mix
in
with other
15
things,
minutes.
unless you're like out driving while very high. But that's another incident. But marijuana alone, you cannot die from.
Right. And even driving high, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Um, Even driving high, there is a lot of evidence indicating that driving high, while it's probably not good, is definitely not nearly as bad as driving drunk.
Right.
And
Yeah, but I see the argument that like
yeah, it shouldn't
uh,
be legal. It shouldn't be
there's
legal
no
to
way
drive
to
high.
like
because it's in your system for like how long? Like a few weeks, a month. Like
It
if you're
depends
driving,
actually.
there's no way there's no alcohol, the BAC test or whatever,
Right.
um,
It's
that
difficult.
they can pull you over and test you for.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's difficult. Um,
That's the only bullet that's like not really.
right.
Yeah, that I
And
can get. I don't see any other cons though.
this is something actually. If you want to talk a little bit about drugs, I'm actually pro decriminalizing all drugs. Uh, I don't know. You okay? Oh God, he muted. Oh no. Oh shit, I think
Yeah,
Miles
I'm
died.
here. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
good.
I'm listening.
Everything good?
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I'm pro decriminalizing all drugs, like including heroin and cocaine and shit.
No, I
And
don't.
yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
there's a YouTube video that you should absolutely watch. That's from
I
Joe.
was, you know, Yoav, right?
I do know Yoav, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to him about it. He believes the same thing as you do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
legalizing something, it gives the people the okay, I can do this then because it's legal.
Well,
There's no like consequences if it's legal, right?
well, it doesn't tell people that it's all right. It just tells people that if you're suffering from addiction issues,
It tells them that it's probably safe because it's legal. That's
no,
what I believe it tells
there are a
them.
lot of things that are not safe that are still legal. Like drinking alcohol is not safe, but it's legal. Like driving statistically is not particularly safe, but it's legal. I don't know. Like there are things that are legal to do in America because it would
People
be
will
ridiculous to make it
start having
illegal.
drugs because it's legal, and they're gonna get hooked to it, and they're gonna
But
overdose
people,
on it.
no. Okay, so this is what I'm going to talk to you about. Switzerland. There are a few countries that have done similar things, but I want to talk about Switzerland specifically. Switzerland decriminalized heroin because they had a terrible opioid crisis in, I
Wait,
believe it
hold on.
was.
Wait, I just want to make this clear. There's a difference between decriminalizing and like making it legal.
Yeah, I'm pro decriminalizing. I never said legalizing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, so decriminalizing all drugs, and so they decriminalized heroin, and what they had safe injection sites, and at these safe injection sites, you could get free chemically pure heroin from the government, and you can go and inject it yourself with your own needle. You would get a clean needle, and they would monitor you to make sure that you
I
don't
can't hear you.
overdose. Sorry. What was the last thing you heard?
Now I can. Now I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, safe injection sites. You get free chemically pure heroin from the government, and they give you a clean needle, and you just go into a room and you inject it, and they monitor you to make sure that you don't overdose and die. And the effect that had, and then while they're there, they're offered psychological help. They're offered therapy to
Okay,
try
but
to work through
doesn't
their
that cost
problems.
so much having sites and it's for free?
You would think so, but it actually saved the government enormous amounts of money. It saved the government tens of
How?
millions of dollars every year after a certain point because what happened is the black market for heroin just disappeared because who on earth is going to pay for heroin that could be spiked and take the risk of overdosing when instead they could go and get free chemically pure heroin from the government and be monitored to make sure they don't die. Like nobody's going to pay for that. So the black market evaporated and
So
all
what
of
if it becomes decriminalized like heroin, but there's no sites? That's not good.
well, but the safe injection sites actually saved the
No,
government
I'm
money
just
though.
saying, like, would you say it's okay to decriminalize it, but still not have sites?
I
Like,
mean
if America decides to do that.
that's better than what we have now for sure. I would vote for that, but you know, I'm for incremental change, but the safe injection sites are a huge part of that. The safe injection sites are what destroy the black market for it.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, but I'm just saying I don't see it happening.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that is another question. I mean, Canada has safe injection sites too. It's not just Switzerland. And Portugal decriminalized all drugs. I don't think they have safe injection sites. And there are a few other countries that I think either did it or are
that's
looking
just.
at doing it in the near future. You know, America tends to be like 20 to 50 years behind on all of
But
these
like,
sorts of
so
progressive
if you're
issues,
like,
but
if the government is providing it, it's basically like, it's not decriminalizing it. It's basically legal. Like,
I
what's the
mean,
difference between
yeah, I guess.
decriminalization and legal?
Well, the difference is that you can't buy heroin in like a pharmacy.
See,
Heroin
but like,
isn't.
But having it by the government is like the same thing, though.
I mean, I guess it's similar in the end, but the difference is that the safe injection sites, in order to like get into one, you need to be like an adult of a certain age, and you need to be like approved to enter. And a pharmacy is a place where just like anyone can go in. And if it's like legal, then
I
you can
should.
just like go into a
Sorry.
pharmacy and see like heroin packaged for to be bought from like a pharmacy. That's the difference.
Uh huh.
So I don't believe in that.
Um,
Heroin should not just like be available in pharmacies.
but so like I have a question though. Like weed is decriminalized in New York, but it's not like there's dispensaries you can walk in and buy it from.
I mean, there are for people who have like anxiety and
Oh yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
obviously. For
yeah.
I myself as a medical, but I've never had it. No, I've had it.
Okay.
I have Crohn's disease. I was in remission and I had it and I just threw up that night. But like, it was like a pill though. It wasn't really like THC. It was just CBD.
Got it.
But
Yeah, CBD is useful.
how do people? If it's decriminalized in New York, how do people get it? Through like a black market, kind of, right?
Yeah, for now there's a black market, but the black
Like,
market
why do they
wouldn't.
allow that though? Because it's going to be laced with other things,
Um,
probably.
I mean, at least in the case of marijuana, it's sometimes it is laced. It's more likely to be laced if it's like a cart. But yeah,
Like at that point, you should just make it legal and recreational because it's safer that way.
yeah, absolutely.
It shouldn't
Marijuana
be
needs to be
decriminalized at
legalized.
all. It's either like don't have it legalized, or have it illegal, or just have it legal. There should be no in between because the in between is worse. You have to choose one or the other. But
I mean, I think there's an argument to be had there, fair enough. But, the exact definition of decriminalization versus legalization is a
you
little
just
iffy.
you don't get prosecuted for it.
Right. Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, in the case of like, the safe injection sites, where exactly does it fall on that line? Like, so the safe injection sites, you're not exactly legalizing it because it's not just available at pharmacies, but I guess you're right. It's a little more than decriminalization.
And also, like, there's obviously it's a huge market then in New York if it's decriminalized. Why can't New York be taking that money for the weed by making it legal and they like because it's governments only, it's like dispensaries
Hmm.
or a lot of the dispensaries, right?
Right.
So they would get so much from that and taxes, like if it's heavily taxed, just like marijuana and stuff.
Well, well, my
Like
problem
I
with
don't see there's like a missed opportunity there when it comes to like getting money for that.
Well, no, because the problem there is that marijuana is okay for people to smoke and it doesn't really harm them. So I'm okay with like the government making some tax money off of it. Heroin is not something anyone should do. And I didn't get the chance to say it in the end. In Switzerland, something like 90 to 95% of the people who were on the program weaned themselves off of it with the therapy provided at the safe injection sites. So part of the appeal of the safe injection sites is that people, if they're provided therapy while there, tend to wean themselves off of it and to get off of heroin. The point of the safe injection sites is to end the opioid epidemic. It's not to profit off of it. Like, marijuana and heroin are very different. Marijuana, like, the entire world could smoke weed and the world wouldn't be worse for it. But like heroin is terrible for you. I don't think that should be like encouraged by the government. It
Right.
should it should be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people would feel like it is encouraged. Well, not encouraged. It is okay because it's not illegal.
Well,
You see that though, right?
you have to draw. You have to.
Obviously, no. Like you see that though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, to
Okay.
to an extent, but you have to be careful. One, with proper education, you can negate that, and two, you educate people to
Don't you
know
think
that
people
heroin is
would
bad.
like people don't experiment with it because it's illegal. If it's legal, people will experiment with it just like alcohol.
I'm sorry, that most people who are going to try heroin are going to try heroin whether or not it's legal. Like if they're already set on trying heroin, they're not going to be
I
like,
mean,
"Ooh, but
yeah,
it's illegal."
okay, yeah, but
The,
no, it's like you wouldn't go out of your way to get heroin.
maybe you wouldn't. Uh, I get, but like it's not that difficult to get right now. Like heroin, especially in like city areas and urban areas, is pretty easy to get. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, like if you have the safe injection sites, you just eliminate the black market for it, and you have proper government education about the dangers of heroin and why you shouldn't be trying this. And you don't. And one of the things that Switzerland did that I'm not sure that we should do but one of the things that they did was they said you're only allowed to come into the safe injection site for the heroin if you're like already an addict. Like you're not allowed to just try it for the first time. And I have a few problems with that because there were definitely some people that like slipped through the cracks on that one who weren't able to prove that they were already addicts or anything. So it makes it a
Hmm.
little tricky if you do that. But you know, there are ways to make sure that people aren't like just
Like,
trying heroin for fun. That those safe
okay,
injections.
that's the only thing. I don't want people like just like they're like people who aren't taking heroin right now. Any like
Hmm.
me, well, I'm sure you are. You don't take heroin. I
Yeah,
don't want like anyone to experiment with it just because it is decriminalized or illegal. Is what I'm saying.
right.
I don't
But
want more people to fall into that.
wouldn't fewer people try it if the black market were evaporated? If the black market evaporates, wouldn't it be more difficult for people to try it for the first time? It would be more difficult, especially for young people, to get their hands on.
Well,
I mean,
not
this.
if it's legal or decriminalized. You can get it.
Well, no, you can only get it from the safe injection sites. That's the thing. There's no like, especially
Yeah,
for children.
that's only in condition that they do have
Right.
safe sites and like that.
But just
But
like.
honestly, I would see what you're saying. If
Hmm.
somehow everything is like a pro with that, that it is safe. Like I don't think heroin is ever completely safe, in my opinion. But
Hmm. Yeah, of course it's never completely safe, but you can make it safer for people so that people don't die, and you can make sure um, that they get therapy and everything while they're going. But yeah,
I
like.
feel like our focus should be on like therapy for those who are drug addicts and rehabs and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like that's where, like in my opinion, that's where the focus should be on.
Well, yeah, and that needs to be controlled by the government because private rehab is ridiculous. Like the concept of private rehab is just
And
absurd
that's
because they have an incentive to have repeat.
and that's what Melania is doing with the opioid crisis. Like she's like
Is Melania
I don't know as
trying
much as
to like nationalize and like socialize drug rehabilitation?
yeah, she's I think she's pro that. I don't really know, but like I'm just bringing that up because like that's her one campaign for her. So
Okay, socializing rehab. If that's true, that's actually kind of poggers. Um, hold on.
you might not get like a direct answer.
Mm, da. My personal experience. Nope, that's not what I care about. Rehabilitation.
Or all these I'm looking right. None of this has to do with the thing you typed up.
Oh, the racism, you mean?
Oh no, just like the
Or
news things of like a fake photo or something.
oh yeah, right. Um, yeah, I don't even. I mean, if that's true, that's pretty poggers. But I can't actually find an article talking about her wanting to socialize
Right.
rehabs.
There's
So
not going to be anything direct, but she
right.
speaks at like so many events and stuff.
Hmm. Well, she
But
might
she
just be
strongly
pro.
supports the mental health,
Yeah,
like
she might just be like pro
increasing the
private
mental health.
rehab. It's possible she's just pro private rehab. And
I don't really know, but
I mean, private
if that's her
rehab.
goal, then I'm like if that's her goal to like try to stop the opioid crisis, then that's good.
Yeah.
But, I feel like we've gotten everywhere with that.
Hmm.
We yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We've been talking for an hour, by the way. I did enjoy this conversation.
We can wrap it up. Yeah,
Yeah, we can wrap
it
it
was
up
nice,
though.
but I don't. Yeah, I wasn't expecting like a full debate. It was just more reasoning and talking it out.
Hmm.
So
Right. Right. Yeah.
I
The
don't think this will be interesting for a YouTube video. But go ahead.
I'll like clip some of the more interesting parts. Sure.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right. But
Is
yeah.
Josh? Is that Noah's brother?
Yeah. Josh Benon. Yeah.
He just comes in.
Hmm. I put on like my Snap and a few Discord servers. So if
and
you.
and then he he tells me that I'm right. Yeah, it's a bum stuff.
Hmm. How many people did I get watching? So I got like 17 to 18 people watching. All
There's
right,
18
that's
right
cool.
now.
All right, but yeah, it was more pleasant talking to you than I thought it would be for sure. We agreed on more than I
Yeah,
thought, and
yeah.
I hope that I convinced you at least on the decriminalizing drugs thing.
Oh, like I don't think that's a huge issue in America right now. It's not like something being pushed, so I'm
I
say
mean,
like
there are
indifferent to that.
tens of thousands
But
of people dying of opioid
it,
overdoses a year.
it
It's
if the
kind of a big
back,
problem.
well, you're not gonna. Do you think opioid should be legalized as well? Like you're saying any drug?
Oh yeah, I talked about heroin specifically, but I believe it should be all drugs. Like all drugs should have like safe injection sites should be available for like all drugs. I believe all dangerous
But you
drugs.
know how many people like yeah, I mean I'm just trying to say that when marijuana gets or like at least recreational, everyone's gonna like so many people
Yeah.
are gonna try it because it's loud.
Well,
That would be the
marijuana,
same
sure.
thing.
Marijuana is very
Yeah.
different from heroin, though.
Like if it's a condition that there are multiple sites that is convenient for people,
Hmm.
but there's still I mean there still will be a black market. It will eliminate the black market heavily, but
Hmm.
there still will be laced drugs and stuff, which is
Maybe to an extent, but
and they're
it'll be
not going to
way
get
less prevalent.
there's no consequences for it. But yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, it was very
I
nice
just
talking to
don't
you.
think it should be a thing. Like I get safe injections, maybe that if
Okay.
with the exception of that, otherwise it shouldn't.
Fair enough. Yeah, safe injection sites. All right. Awesome. It was very nice talking to you.
That's the phrase of the day.
Yeah.
Safe.
Okay. All right. Bye,
All
man.
right.
Hmm.
Bye. It's nice.
All right. Yeah. Well, that was definitely more pleasant than I thought it would be. And yeah. I'm sorry, Beamish. I tried to figure out how to raise my bit rate and I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I didn't do it. Um, but yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Can't believe that you like actually did it. It's amazing. And I hope you all have a great day. And I'll post the video of this later. That's just like the interesting stuff. So maybe you'll be in the video in the little chat. All right. Bye.